I want you to picture a scenario. There is a 7-1-year-old man. He is retired. His mind is as sharp as it has ever been. He still insists on mowing his own lawn, and he still drives himself to his Tuesday night poker games. For 2 years, he has been putting off his routine physical, but his wife finally convinces him to go in. I am going to tell you something that most doctors simply do not have the time to explain during a standard office visit. Your legs are not just getting weaker because you are getting older. Your legs are getting weaker because no one ever taught you how to properly feed them. There is a massive difference between those two concepts. One is a life sentence, the other is a solvable problem. I am Dr. Ethan Caldwell, and welcome to HealthSpan Lab. Today, I am going to give you that solution. We are going to walk through 6 specific foods, ranked from highly effective to absolutely transformational. These are foods that can actively rebuild your leg strength, restore degrading muscle tissue, and give you back the physical stability and confidence you might have thought were gone forever. Before we get to the countdown, I need to share a piece of data that stopped me in my tracks when I first read it. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society revealed that adults over the age of 65 who suffer from significant lower body muscle weakness face a 72% higher risk of developing a mobility disability within just 5 years. That comes with an alarming spike in fall-related hospitalizations, nursing home admissions, and early mortality. 72%, that is nearly 3 out of every 4 people. Many of them could have intervened and changed their trajectory if they had just known what modern science now understands about nutrition, muscle biology, and the aging body. I will go ahead and tease this right now. The number 1 food on today's list is likely sitting in your kitchen at this very moment. It is an ingredient you may have even been warned to avoid in the past. Yet, researchers at Harvard Medical School now point to it as one of the most profoundly powerful muscle protective compounds available to anyone over the age of 60. I am saving that one for the end, because once you understand the mechanism behind it, your grocery list will never look the same. Before we dive in, I want to ask you a quick, personal question. Drop down into the comments and let me know your age, and tell me if you have started noticing your legs feeling heavier, weaker, or less stable. Does walking up a flight of stairs demand more effort? Have you had a near fall recently? Does standing up from your favorite chair feel like a chore? I read every single comment on this channel. Sharing your specific story might just be the beacon that helps someone else find this video and reclaim their independence. Take 30 seconds and let me know. Now, let's get to the science. We are counting down from 6 to 1. Coming in at number 6, and this one routinely shocks my patients, is eggs. Yes, I know. You have heard the great egg debate for decades. You were told they spike your cholesterol, that they are dangerous for your heart, and that you should step away from the carton. I am here to tell you, backed by the full weight of contemporary nutritional science, that this advice, especially for older adults, was one of the most actively harmful pieces of dietary guidance ever pushed on the public. Here is what eggs actually do for the aging musculature in your legs. Eggs happen to be one of the most bioavailable, complete sources of leucine on the planet. If you are not familiar with leucine, it is an amino acid that acts as the biological ignition switch for muscle protein synthesis. That is the exact process your body uses to build and repair muscle fibers. When you pass the age of 65, your body begins to develop a condition known as anabolic resistance. In plain English, your muscles become stubborn. They stop responding to normal protein signals and require a much louder, stronger trigger to initiate repair. Leucine provides that trigger. 2 large, whole eggs contain roughly 1.6 grams of leucine. Research out of the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign demonstrated that this exact amount is sufficient to meaningfully kickstart muscle protein synthesis, even in older individuals dealing with significant anabolic resistance. But the magic of the egg goes far beyond leucine. The yolk, the exact part you were told to throw in the trash, is packed with choline, vitamin D, and a fascinating compound known as phosphatidylcholine. This compound actively maintains the structural integrity of your muscle cell membranes. As we age, those membranes naturally become fragile and struggle to hold on to the critical nutrients required for muscles to contract and heal. The yolk essentially provides a biological armor for your cells. Tossing the yolk is like buying a brand new car, but leaving the engine at the dealership. Let me tell you about a patient of mine named Margaret. She is 74, living in Sarasota, Florida. She came into my clinic terrified of her own staircase after suffering 2 falls in just 6 months. Following the advice of a former physician, she had been strictly adhering to a low-fat diet for over 10 years, completely avoiding eggs. I put her on a regimen of 3 whole eggs every morning. 8 weeks later, she proudly reported that she had walked up her staircase without gripping the railing for the first time in 2 years. That wasn't a miracle. That was leucine, choline, and vitamin D functioning exactly the way human biology intended. For the best results, eat 2 to 3 whole eggs for breakfast. Cook them in a healthy fat like avocado or olive oil, which we will discuss soon, because the fat drastically improves the absorption of the yolk's fat-soluble vitamins. And please, use gentle heat. Do not scramble them to a dry crisp in a hot pan, as excessive heat degrades the integrity of those vital proteins. Moving on to number 5, wild-caught salmon. If your legs constantly feel like lead, if your calves seize up and cramp in the middle of the night, or if you wake up with deep aches in your joints, chronic inflammation is likely cannibalizing your muscle tissue while you sleep. Wild-caught salmon is arguably nature's most aggressive anti-inflammatory weapon. The heavy lifters here are the omega-3 fatty acids, EPA, and DHA. Before we get lost in alphabet soup, let's look at what they physically do inside an aging body. Imagine the inflammation inside your leg muscles as a slow-burning forest fire. It starts small, but over decades, it quietly chars everything in its path: your muscle fibers, your connective tissues, and the vital nerve pathways that carry movement signals from your brain to your legs. EPA and DHA act like a fleet of water bombers. They don't just soothe the burn, they actively and chemically neutralize the specific inflammatory compounds, namely prostaglandins and cytokines, that your body overproduces once you cross your 60th birthday. A rigorous study from the University of Aberdeen in Scotland tracked 87 adults over the age of 65 for 18 weeks. The group that consumed the omega-3 equivalent of about 3 servings of wild salmon per week saw their muscle protein synthesis rate jump by 22% compared to the control group. Furthermore, salmon provides a massive benefit for aging legs that is rarely discussed. It is one of the few reliable food sources of vitamin D3. By the time you reach 70, your skin loses its ability to efficiently manufacture vitamin D from sunlight. According to research published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology, roughly 77% of adults over 65 are deficient in vitamin D. This deficiency is directly linked to clinical muscle weakness, compromised balance, and an exploding risk of sarcopenia, the medical designation for age-related muscle wasting. Just 1 6-ounce fillet of wild-caught sockeye salmon delivers up to 988 international units, IU, of vitamin D3. Considering the recommended daily minimum for adults over 70 is 800 IU, you are hitting your entire daily requirement in a single meal. Aim for 2 to 3 servings of salmon a week, and it absolutely must be wild-caught. Farm-raised salmon possesses a heavily skewed omega-3 to omega-6 ratio, which completely negates the anti-inflammatory benefits. Serve it alongside a bed of dark leafy greens to activate a powerful vitamin K2 synergy, which brings us perfectly to our next food. Number 4 on our countdown holds a near-mythic status among longevity researchers: spinach and dark leafy greens. Once you pass 75, your body loses around 35% of its natural ability to recycle nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is essentially the air traffic controller for the blood flow in your legs. Spinach, kale, arugula, and Swiss chard are packed with dietary nitrates. When you chew them, specific bacteria in your saliva convert those nitrates straight into nitric oxide. The result? A 19% improvement in skeletal muscle efficiency. The muscle tissue didn't magically inflate, it simply became vastly more efficient at utilizing the oxygen and nutrients it was receiving. Additionally, spinach is an absolute powerhouse of magnesium. Shockingly, 68% of Americans over 60 live with chronic magnesium deficiency. Right here, at the halfway mark, I want to pause. If you are learning something new about your body today, please hit the like button. It signals the YouTube algorithm to push this video out to other older adults who desperately need to hear this science. And if you have not subscribed to HealthSpan Lab yet, please do so now. Every single week, I break down clinically sound, actionable health protocols for adults who refuse to surrender their independence to age. Let's move into the top 3. We are entering elite nutritional territory now. Number 3, full-fat Greek yogurt. Crucially, it contains an elite profile of branched-chain amino acids, BCAAs, leucine, isoleucine, and valine. These three specific amino acids are rapidly absorbed straight into the muscle tissue. But what really elevates Greek yogurt onto this list is its live probiotic cultures, particularly lactobacillus. These probiotics directly influence what science now calls the gut-muscle axis. We have arrived at number 2. Early in this video, I promised you a food that would genuinely surprise you. This is it. Number 2 on the list is beets. When you consume them, and those nitrates travel to the oxygen-starved tissue in your working muscles, they convert to nitric oxide with staggering efficiency. This triggers what scientists call a vasodilatory cascade. The results showed a remarkable 38% surge in blood flow strictly to the white matter regions of the brain that control motor function. Think about the magnitude of that. Additionally, beets are loaded with betaine, a compound famous for suppressing homocysteine levels in the blood. Around 47% of adults over 60 suffer from elevated homocysteine, which directly accelerates muscle wasting, ravages the vascular system, and cripples mitochondrial function. And now, the moment we've been building toward. Number 1. This is the exact food I alluded to at the very beginning of our time together. It is the ingredient that Harvard Medical School researchers have spotlighted as a supreme muscle protective compound for aging bodies. Extra virgin olive oil is biologically distinct from every other fat on the human menu. It harbors an incredibly unique plant polyphenol called oleocanthal. Inside your body, oleocanthal operates almost identically to ibuprofen. It shares the exact same biological mechanism, actively inhibiting the COX-1 and COX-2 inflammatory enzymes that prescription NSAIDs target. A monumental 3-year study from the University of Athens, published in the journal Clinical Nutrition, monitored 840 adults over the age of 65. The researchers found that those who consumed a minimum of 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil every single day exhibited a 37% lower incidence of sarcopenia. The polyphenols within extra virgin olive oil, and there are over 30 different types present, have the unique ability to directly stimulate the mTOR signaling pathway inside your muscle cells. Research from the University of Jaén in Spain discovered that another abundant polyphenol in olive oil, called hydroxytyrosol, aggressively shields the mitochondrial DNA inside your muscle cells from oxidative destruction. I want to introduce you to Thomas, an 81-year-old retired Navy commander living in Norfolk, Virginia. When Thomas first sat in my office, his legs were completely failing him. At the 12-week mark, he was back riding his bicycle. At 6 months, this 81-year-old man completed a 2-mile charity walk for veterans. When shopping, always buy extra virgin olive oil housed in dark glass bottles from trusted producers. More importantly, check the label for a specific harvest date, not just a generic expiration date. I want to bring this all together now, because I don't just want you walking away with medical trivia. I want you to take action. You were never designed to become a passive passenger in your own life. You were not meant to sit by the window watching your grandchildren play without you. Let me state this as a concrete clinical fact, not just a motivational platitude. The muscle tissue in your body fundamentally retains its ability to repair, adapt, and grow well into your 9th decade of life. Starting today, with your very next meal, give it those materials. 2 eggs, a fillet of wild salmon, a heavy serving of spinach, a bowl of full-fat Greek yogurt, 2 roasted beets, 4 tablespoons of the highest quality olive oil you can afford. These are not exotic, hard-to-find items. They are sitting in almost every grocery store on the planet, and they hold the power to hand you back the one thing so many people simply resign themselves to losing: the freedom to navigate your world on your own terms, armed with physical strength, profound confidence, and joy. I have linked the scientific references for every single study I mentioned today down in the description box. I highly encourage you to read them, print them out, show them to your personal physician, and use them to violently advocate for your own health span. If you are not yet subscribed to HealthSpan Lab, please do it right now. Every week, we deliver the exact kind of evidence-based, senior-focused health strategies that you will rarely get in a rushed 15-minute doctor's appointment. Our community is expanding purely because individuals like you are sharing these videos with the people you love, and I cannot thank you enough for that. Now, head down to the comments. I want to know which of these 6 foods you are adding to your plate today. Tell me how your legs have been feeling, and share your personal journey. This channel is not an abstract medical lecture. It exists specifically for you, your unique history, and your pursuit of a stronger life. As I said, I read every single comment. Until next time, eat well, move your body every day, and absolutely never stop believing that your best years are still waiting to be claimed. Take care of yourself. The science is absolute on this. Your body desperately wants to rebuild itself. It is simply waiting for you to provide the architectural materials. That is not a destiny pre-written into your DNA. That is simply the consequence of being denied the correct biological information. Today you have that information. Polyphenols degrade when exposed to light and age. Cheap, clear bottled oil sitting under harsh supermarket lights is nothing but empty calories. Fresh, high-quality olive oil is legitimate medicine.